Okay, continuing from the last video, my alarm clock went off. I gotta give her antibiotics soon. Anyways, I was talking about what happened in the morning. She got ran over. Alright, no Maggie. She absolutely cannot start chewing at that. She already snuck in and tore off her scab, so it's going to be more of a scar, and it's the red part in the middle of that scar is goes into a few layers of her skin. I personally don't think it goes down to her muscle. If it does, I believe she's going to need to see the vet either way, but definitely don't want to have infection after all this time. And as you can tell, she's just trying to get better. If you let her outside, there's a harness, as soon as you show that to her, she starts to hop up, so you have to hurry up and put it underneath her belly towards her back legs, and then just grab it and you're off. She's walking along three-legged. She's getting to the point where she's putting her right leg down. But yeah, back to the morning of what happened. Basically, I'm used to the dogs. I'm used to my elder sister's Chihuahua, usually running to the neighbor's house or slightly into the side, the woods west of our house. But not used to Maggie running off, and just happened to be that I let all three of them out at the same time. And I was tired, and I wasn't, also wasn't keeping an eye on them. And hey Maggie, how you doing, baby? You tired? You're just bored? You want to show everyone your pretty face? She got some either tears or sleep in her eyes. She keeps getting them. Yeah, unfortunately, I was so dead tired. I was barely staying awake, and I went to sit down on one of the couches, and I let just a little bit too much time pass by, and eventually our first dog, Toby, came to the door, and then he let him in, and then I looked out and couldn't see the other two dogs. I was just thinking, oh great, they're in the neighbor's yard or out front. I just gotta, I was just at the time worried about having to put my shoes on to go after him, and when I let Toby in, he looked at me with a look of death on his face, like he had just seen a ghost or something. It was really creepy, and so I'm wondering if Toby had ventured off out way past the backyard to where they could venture off to the back road where there's this way's better, because I think this is where it happened. There's a uphill, downhill, so a valley, another uphill, and a little bit of valley, so cars come from either way or coming uphill down to the valley, and I think that's right where unfortunately the back section of our yard lets out. There's no fence blocking it off there, and it was either there or farther down the road. I've seen skid marks in both places. I've seen dually truck tires in someone's yard, but I've also heard that it happened farther down where the valley was. So still not clear, but all I know is that Sophie the Chihuahua came running home next, and then I let her in. And I looked I remember I looked to the left and the right of the back porch and didn't see Maggie. I'm like, oh great. I could sense that something was possibly wrong at that point, especially, you know, when the first dog came in and gave me that look. And then right when I looked back left, coming down the hill, was Maggie on 3 legs, and she was lifting up her back right leg, and it was kind of like flapping around some, so I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but now that I look back on it, you could tell that it was dislocated, and just, but she still had muscle control to lift it up. And poor thing, the tear that was busted wide open in her leg, it looked like, my first impression was, wow, you know, one of my crazy country neighbors decided to shoot our dog. And then after she got into the house, she was in like shock, and she was like, you know, had no idea what happened to her, so she was trying to run around the house like she was still okay, and she tried to go up the stairs twice, and was just freaking out, and I was freaking out, and when I saw where her skin was torn open, I finally realized that first few things came to my mind. I didn't think it was a gunshot, because there wasn't like, it was just her skin ripped open. There wasn't, you know, a bullet hole, and there wasn't bleeding that much, just a little bit. And anyways, she's definitely comfortable up there. I was like, man, I wonder if neighbor got out like, you know, shovel, pickaxe, something, and just got ticked off for having a dog in their yard, or if she got caught up in like wiring in a fence and got her skin ripped open. And then of course the final thought clicked into my mind that she could have gotten struck by a car and then ran away, and turns out she wasn't just struck, she was ran over. And I was freaking out. I got her into like my parents' office, had her on the ground. I was trying to hold her with one hand and talk on the phone at the same time. I just panicked. I knew that calling 911 wasn't going to get me very far, but I didn't. Since I was trying to hold her down, it wasn't really easy to reach my mom's computer, and try and, you know, start Google searching for animal hospital. So I just called 911 and asked their advice, and they told me to call North Court Animal Clinic, which ironically is the local vet out of all the vets that Maggie attends. And they told me I was going to have to bring her in, so I had to call my mom too. So she had to turn around and leave work. She had barely been there, maybe an hour, and had to wait for her to drive home. And I was like praying that she wasn't going to like start bleeding badly. And at the same time, after I got off the phone with her, one of our neighbors called and told me that the guy who actually struck her was coming down the hill of our driveway to see if Maggie was okay. And he was. I remember I had like the office door closed because I didn't want to run away, and I was holding her down, and I was on the phone with our neighbor, and he was knocking on the door at the same time, so I never got to speak with him myself. But he stopped by later when my mom showed up, and gave her the best details that he could at the time of what happened. And Yeah, all I really know is semi where it happened and the size of the truck he had, and luckily it was a big size pickup truck, because a smaller truck would have crushed her underneath, and she probably wouldn't be here today. She probably would have, she would have been so banged up if she did survive that I'm sure someone would have made the decision to put her down, but and she almost had to. I remember the vet nurse that came and talked to us. I think I especially overreacted when he finally made it to the med vet animal hospital in Worthington, Ohio. I remember they took Maggie back, and then we went to a room with a nurse vet, and she brought up the possibility of amputation, and I thought the way she said it, I thought she was implying that was likely going to be their choice, and I was crying, because at the time I thought that's what she meant, and I couldn't believe it. And my parents started tearing up really bad, and then when we got back out into the lobby, I'm like, okay, let's look at the situation. She said, amputation may be needed. She didn't say is going to be needed, so we had to wait for the surgeon to tell us what was going to happen. Anyways, she didn't have the amputation, and she got, I guess you'd call it reconstructive surgery, and it's going to take time for the bruising to go down, the scar to heal up, and hair to grow back, and then the most important part is for her bones to fuse properly to all the metal parts inside of her. And this has been really tough on me, because with drawing off of this medication, you're not even supposed to withdraw straight off with clonazepam, but my doctor doesn't know. I'm supposed to see Saturday. Alright, supposed to see him Monday, and she must not like the light. Alright, yeah, better not walk out in case she gets nervous for me leaving. She tries to jump down. Anyways, yeah, I've been a real quick story about my medication. I take a benzodiazepine class anxiety medication, and clonazepam has a long half-life, but there's only one benzodiazepine that is recommended and has a long enough half-life to taper off of successfully, and that's diazepam, which is the name for Valium. And trying to think, you're supposed to slowly take away a little bit of your clonazepam and then add the diazepam until, just like a taper schedule, except for its integration. And then at the same time you're adding it, you're also taking away from your total dose of the day, and until you get to the point where you're on diazepam only. And since it has a long half-life, it ensures that you have smooth blood concentration. Right now, that's definitely not happening, and I have just 1 milligram tablets anyways. So when I have cut down my dosages by a quarter of a milligram, and when I first started off, I was dropping off an entire half milligram, and that was way too much, and I had a huge amount of side effects to where my brain couldn't even, it was like messing up like crazy, and like I remember I couldn't even tell my mind to pick up like a fork so I could eat, and I felt like I was walking around like a broken robot. And then a couple weeks ago I started having really felt like my brain was just turning on way too fast, and it makes you feel like you're just going mad. I know, kind of semi-psychotic. You truthfully want to it's so crazy, everything is happening in your head that like get to the point where you're very close to like, man, I just wanted this all, but luckily I didn't like lose control or anything, so I still knew that logically that there was a way out of this, and hopefully my doctor will be interested in the diazepam withdrawal, because I could sit here and talk for another hour about why it's supposed to be the way that you're supposed to taper off, and read this this person that ran a withdrawal clinic and is a professor in psychiatry. She has like 2 other type of specialty doctor degrees, but she talks about how even withdrawing from Klonopin, even though it has a decent half-life, it's a huge no-no because it's so potent. And diazepam has also, like, 0.5 milligram of clonazepam is equivalent to 10 milligrams of diazepam, and in the United States, the smallest tablet for clonazepam is 0.5 milligram, and the smallest tablet for diazepam is 2 milligrams. They have 2, 5, and 10. And so if you want to take the extreme slow route and taper off 1 to 2 milligrams at a time, you could, or anything in between, you could do that with diazepam, and you would have, you're supposed to have like little to no side effects or anything. Would be nice compared to what I've been through. But I'll see the doctor on Monday, and Maggie will be going to the vet soon, and we have a free $10,000 tournament to play in on the Merge Network today. It's been here in a while, but I haven't been to my apartment to get it. I got that's some good old micro stakes money on the Merge Network. You have to have at least $100 in your balance to be able to even request a check, and then they charge you a $15 fee. So that was originally a little over $135. And so it felt good to. I did that in like Singo tournaments and multi-table tournaments, like almost all turbos. So this lady from, I believe, Nigeria is trying to chat with me. She's a geneticist, so it's interesting to talk to her. And there's hope for Maggie and myself. So here's hoping you get better, girl. Here's hoping we both make it through our problems.